What's up, everybody? This is Jeff from Exposed Turnbuckle coming live from the 603. Just finished watching Smackdown live. I thought it was a pretty good show. I'm going to go through it really quickly and start with the first part was Randy Orton coming out as the new WWE Champion, basically saying he was the master of Bray Wyatt now. Wyatt came onto the screen, said he wanted to torture Randy Orton. He was going to have his rematch, but he wanted a special match. Later announced that it was going to be a House of Horrors match. Now, I'm a little torn on this one. The name of it sounds pretty cool, but we've seen Dean Ambrose's Asylum match come up, and that was just a cage match with stupid weapons like a potted plant and a mop. That one was kind of a dud. Then you had the Punjabi prison match from way back. That was a little bit of a dud, so we'll see. It sounds pretty cool. It will happen. Randy Orton did accept, but we didn't get any specifics on what the match is and when the match will happen. It just will be Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton in a House of Horrors match at some point. Orton said he called out Bray Wyatt since he said he was there. Lights went dark. Bray Wyatt appeared behind him, attacked him. Brawl commenced, and then Eric Rowan returned and pulled out Randy Orton and became a 2-on-1. Then Luke Harper came out, evened the field, and cleared the ring. So a tag match, predictably, was announced for later on in the evening. The next thing that happened was a backstage interview with Miz and Maurice. Miz basically mentioned the Superstar Shakeup coming up next week, and that this might be his last opportunity to call out John Cena, so he's going to do precisely that later on tonight. He also accused John Cena of proposing just to save face, kind of continuing that storyline along the way. Then the next segment was the rematch for the Women's Championship between Naomi and Alexa Bliss, and then it cut into a commercial. WWE absolutely loves doing commercials mid-match. I still don't get it. But during Raw and then tonight's SmackDown, I think there might have been one match total that did not have a commercial in the middle. I just don't know what they're doing. I hate it. It cuts the flow of the match and makes it really difficult to really get invested into a match when they keep cutting and I have to see a stupid Geico commercial or something. All I want to do is watch the match. It is what it is, though. Anyway, Bliss focused on the bad knee once they came back from commercial, and that was basically the story of the match. And I liked it. That's good continuity using that knee injury that took Naomi out of action for a while and actually stripped her of the championship. She hit the rear view at one point and couldn't get the cover quickly, selling the knee, and she did a really good job selling the knee all match. And then the finish ended up being Alexa Bliss went for a pinfall and tried to hold the ropes to kind of get some advantage. Naomi ended up reversing the pinfall into her submission move that she used on WrestleMania, and Alexa Bliss tapped out and Naomi retained the championship. I thought it was a good match. It wasn't going to be anything that was going to steal the show, but it was good. It was entertaining. Definitely wasn't one that I wanted to go get a bathroom break or go get food or something like that. I was entertained by it throughout. I'm also not really a huge fan of rematches, the show right after a champion loses, because I would say 99.9% of the time the champion's not going to, the new champion I should say, is not going to lose. They're going to retain the title, so it's a very predictable ending. But either way, good match, put Naomi over. I'm very curious to see what the next challenge is for Naomi moving forward. I would like to see Natalya kind of get a shot, but again, it's tough to predict when you have a superstar shakeup. It really could be anyone coming in and challenging for that title. It could be people, girls from Raw too. So, we'll see after next week's shakeup and see what happens there before we can really speculate. But I would imagine it'll still be someone from the SmackDown show right now. Maybe a Natalya, like I said, could be good. Then we had Kurt Hawkins come out, and I don't know whose idea it was to give this guy a mic. Like, why is he still on my television? I don't get it. I found out in a few seconds why he had this segment. But Jesus, man, like, this guy, talk about a guy who just hasn't even gone over from the minute his, like, vignettes showed up. I just don't know why he's even on the roster. But getting into away from that, he says he has an open challenge for anyone out the back because they should be talking about him instead of the shakeup, and they'll give him to the count of 10. And right when he says that, 10, 10, 10. The chants come out. Dillinger debuts on SmackDown Live, and I'm very happy for Ty Dillinger. He is probably one of the top 5 over people in this company, including Raw and NXT. The fans love him. You saw it at the Royal Rumble. You see it at NXT takeover events. See it on NXT shows. And you saw it here when he came out. The crowd definitely loved it. And I think SmackDown's a good spot for Dillinger. I think that's he would kind of get lost on Raw. So I'm glad he's here. So it'll end up being Kurt Hawkins versus Ty Dillinger. You heard the 10 chant every single time there's an offensive move, a punch, 10, suplex, 10, everything. Ultimately, Ty Dillinger hit the tiebreaker to get the win. This is actually the only match that didn't have a commercial, which was interesting, but another expected result. Dillinger was obviously going to win on his debut, which it might be his. He might have more SmackDown wins than NXT wins. I would have to check that. Stat check me, but I think it's right. I think this is his, more SmackDown wins than at least his NXT pay-per-view wins. I think this is more. Anyway, I hope he gets a good storyline coming up, and hopefully he gets a push on SmackDown. I'm happy to see him here. He's shown a lot of improvement, and I want to see what he does with it. The next up was a interview segment with Mojo Rawley. This one kind of fell flat. He was just talking about his WrestleMania moment, but he made a lot of weird jokes about Andre the Giant, like how he could be a good dancer. For a moment there, he said he really was wondering if he said Andre was really good with the girls. Then he went to say he was really wondering if he was good on the dance floor, but for a moment I thought he was going to go a little elsewhere, and I was kind of wondering how he felt about Andre the Giant there. It worried me a little bit. It was just awkward. The entire thing was awkward. There's really not much more to make of it. Hopefully they build off something with Mojo winning this Battle Royal, but that's not a good start. It was just weird. Next up, Miz and you hear John Cena's music, and out comes the Miz dressed as John Cena, and Nikki Bella doing the booty shake of Nikki Bella, or Maurice doing the booty shake of Nikki Bella, I should say. And they were I was laughing so hard. They were mocking, doing all the entrance, and then basically Miz came out to say that they have an announcement as John Cena did his whole "I love you" thing, which is always entertaining. And they said Cena and Nikki will be leaving WWE to go to Hollywood, to Yes Chance, actually. And then as they're leaving, the lights darken, and out comes a guy playing the violin, which you know means one thing, and then the music drops, and that place exploded for Shinsuke Nakamura. They sang it like they always do. Really cool entrance, as always. And the place was really just going nuts. And again, this I think is a nice spot for Nakamura. I believe it's better than Raw. There's a lot of great potential feuds here. Obviously, AJ Styles is the big one that a lot of people want to see. Right now, it kind of looks like it might be Nakamura versus The Miz to start off, which I like because there's really nothing for The Miz right now. And I think The Miz has made himself very credible to a point where Nakamura, that would be a good starting feud for him. And then Nakamura, the same for The Miz, is a 2-time NXT champion, and that's a really big feud for The Miz. So I think that's a really good starting feud for these two. There was Nakamura chants, and then started to be the dueling chants of Nakamura, holy shit, Nakamura, holy shit. So that basically shows how into Nakamura the fans are. It was awesome. Nothing was said. Absolutely nothing. He came out, did his entrance, smiled a little bit, and then walked out with the song again. So this showing Nakamura is coming to SmackDown. I think it leads to a Miz Nakamura feud, which I would be in support of. And I'm glad to see Nakamura. He's one of my favorite guys. So glad to see him on SmackDown. So that should be interesting. Next up was the street fight between Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose. Definitely the match of the night. This was actually really good, in my opinion. Basically, Corbin put Ambrose through a table. Ambrose ended up hitting an elbow to the outside through a table. Baron Corbin ended up winning with the end of days. They were in the crowd. They were using some weapons, a chair in the corner. Like I said, the two tables. Very great match. I think way better than WrestleMania. It makes me wonder why they didn't just do that for WrestleMania. Because it just blew that one out of the water, and I was very entertained by this entire thing. I would definitely say it was a match of the night tonight. Baron Corbin winning makes sense. He gets his win back and probably continues the feud there with Dean Ambrose and eventually captures the IC title. Then the next thing that happened was Shane McMahon addressed the Superstar Shakeup. Basically, and he said a line saying any Raw superstar should be praying they come to SmackDown because it's the land of opportunity. And frankly, he is right. If I'm on Raw for personal growth, I would want to be on SmackDown because the writing's better. Everything on the flow of the show is just better. And I think a lot of people on Raw, whether they can't say it because they're with the company, but I think a lot of them know like SmackDown would be better for a lot of people, and they would get a lot more FaceTime on that show. Anyway, after he said that, AJ Styles' music hits. He comes out, and AJ basically says he doesn't want to go anywhere. SmackDown's the house that AJ built. And then AJ's got a nice little shiner on his left eye, and he said he thinks he owes Shane something, and he kind of rubs around his eye, kind of teasing that he owes him a nice shiner of his own. And then he extends his hand for a handshake. They shake hands as a show of respect after their phenomenal, no pun intended, WrestleMania match. And then AJ, as he starts to walk, kind of mocks a punch, and Shane gets right into fighting position, and then AJ just smiles, does his pose, and walks out. And as he's walking out, you can see him mouthing the words that he had respect for Shane, and that he doesn't want to go anywhere. This is where he wants to be. So that's just a nice little moment to show the respect of that, and kind of giving the AJ more toward the face side of it, and also gives him a reason to be on SmackDown, because with that feud, it would make plenty of sense for management, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, to be like, no, let's just trade him to Raw, get him out of our hair. But it gives them the opportunity to be like, it makes sense for them to keep him on SmackDown. But I think he should stay on SmackDown. Raw, I just don't think he should be on Raw yet. I think he won't get lost. Obviously, he's AJ Styles, but I just don't like the direction or the writing for that show that much. And I think Styles works better on the SmackDown product. Just my opinion. It feels like a perfect fit. Last but not least, the main event was Randy Orton and Luke Harper versus the Wyatt family, that tag match. One thing I really noticed in this match was the fans are really behind Luke Harper. They love him a lot, actually, and they made a lot of noise for Luke, a lot of Luke chants. Anyway, the ending was Orton set up for the RKO. The Wyatt cut screen hit. Wyatt went from the ring to the ramp. Roman came in, ate a super kick from Harper, RKO from Orton. Orton wins. It was an average match, nothing special. Really just forwarding this storyline of the Wyatts, Luke Harper and Randy Orton. And it seems like they're really pushing the Wyatt supernatural thing. I've noticed the last few weeks. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes going into that House of Horrors match that I mentioned earlier. Overall, I thought it was a really good show. I gave it an 8. You had those NXT debuts with Dillinger and Nakamura. The street fight was really good. Then there was a lot of storyline advancement as far as Wyatt and Orton go. And Corbin got his win back, so I expect that feud to go on. So we'll see. The Styles story to kind of debunk the Raw rumors. So I thought it was a really good show. I think starting next week, I'm going to do one video where I compare both shows in one video, the Battle of the Brands. It just makes the viewing a little easier here. So subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends, get our subscribe numbers up. Watch our other review for Raw, watch our WrestleMania review from this weekend, and finally we are done with the 5 straight days of wrestling. And thank you for watching, and to everyone, get some sleep. We've definitely deserved our nice night of sleep. So thank you, and have a good one.